Hey everybody, I'm going to go over how to make the headphones for the hearing assist system. I am going to start selling these now. I've had a couple people ask about them, and not everybody has everything to make their own. So I think it's probably better that I start selling them with some of the kits or separate. We'll go from there. But anyways, what you're going to need is a cheap headset or whatever headset you want to use. It doesn't necessarily have to be mono or stereo. It just has to have the two speakers and then whatever type of speakers you like. I like doing over the ear speakers, so that's what these are, over the ears. They're a little bit more comfortable and easier. And then we're going to get the 3-foot stereo cable like this. And then we're going to have some solder, wire cutters, strippers, a little screwdriver, and your soldering iron. And then whatever you need for your soldering and whatnot. So to start with, we're going to want to take these apart. The only thing that we're going to want to keep from these is basically the side speakers and the over the ear part. Everything else can get destroyed or thrown away. If you want to, you can keep the side covers here, and if you want to like cut them down or sand them up, you can, and then you can put it all back together and it kind of makes more of a nice cleaner look. But I'm just gonna, when I put these in the helmet, I'm just gonna mount it like that, and you're not gonna really notice. So I don't really keep these on all of mine. Most of these are the same when you get the cheaper. They got the 2 screws right here. We're gonna pull all these out. I kind of already went ahead and started doing this on the other one, and so we're gonna go from here and do this one. It's not too difficult if you want to do it yourself, but some people don't have the tools to do it, so I get that. Alright, so now that we got those apart, we're just going to keep pulling it all apart and get these paddings off. This one here, some of these have screws inside of it. These are just little clips. Oop, I broke that, so this one's going to be trash. That's okay, we'll keep going with it. And we're going to cut these wires right here. That one there, that one there, and this one here. Alright, so that's pretty much what you're going to end up with. It's just like that, and these here. Now that I broke this one, I'm probably going to throw this away, but luckily I have 2 already taken apart, so we'll just start from this one. Now that we have everything done, what we're going to do is look at these wires. The way that this one's set up, and I don't know why they like to do this, but I've seen this on a lot of the cheaper ones, is that they're putting the left and right audio onto one, onto the same wire, which basically doesn't turn this into stereo. Really all it does is turn this into a mono system that has both left and right going in each speaker. And for the hearing assist, that's not going to work, obviously, because you want the left side to go to the left speaker and the right side go to the right speaker. And as you can see here, they do both on this. But you can see this one here's the ground, so that's what we want to find out. That side's ground, and this side here is not, and that side's the ground. So what we're going to do is start taking this part so we can connect the new wires on there. Alright, if you want to have a bunch of wire, otherwise what you can do is measure your helmet. I'm going to stop the video, go measure, see how much wire length I need for the helmet, and then we'll pick up where I left off and solder this on. Okay, so now that I got these measured, basically what we're going to have here is a 7.5 inch and a 18.5 inch. I measured these off of a Waltz Trooper Factory helmet. That's what I have available here, and I'm assuming that most helmets are going to be the same length. This was measured from the outside, so it is going to give you a little extra space in between, since the wires are going to be inside and not outside, so it's going to stretch it out a little bit. And then this one here, depending if you're making these yourself or if you having me make it, I can do custom length for you. That's not going to be a big deal. But I think 7.5 inches should be enough to mount it on the back of the speaker here and go to your speaker or your hearing assist box, wherever it is in your helmet. Just got to make sure you put it on the right side. And you know, if you want it up front or if you want it behind or down on the side of it, you know, usually when I put mine in, my box is going to be just right there to the side, so it's not that far away. It just depends. If you want to do, if you're doing it yourself, you might as well get it custom and get the right size. So we're gonna go in here, and we're gonna want to get everything ready. Find our left and right sides. Obviously, here's your positive side. Here's your negative side, and this one here is green, so that's your positive, and that's your negative on that side. And we're gonna take these wires here, and we're just gonna go strip them real quick. I have a nice wire stripper because I do a ton of wire stripping for my fan kits and other stuff that I make. And there we go, real simple and easy. You want to be careful that you don't go through all the wires. You just want to go the outer one on that one, just to make sure. Then you split them apart. And as you can see here, we have a white, a ground, and a red. So you're going to have your left, ground, right, or whatever you want to set this up as. And we're going to go ahead and strip these ones as well, so that way all three are showing. You want to leave a little bit of the coat on the wire, just so that way they're not touching each other. So just want the very ends to be stripped and showing. And we'll do that with these as well. Now, you don't really have to worry so much about this longer wire. You don't have to strip both the white and the red. You just got to figure out which one you want. I'm gonna do white so I can just chop off the red here. There's no point of having it since it's not going to be hooked up to anything on this side. There you go. And I'll show you that if you don't understand in a little bit. So let's strip that out. And there we go. So basically how it's going to be set up is you're going to have the one side with the ground and wire there, and that's going to run over here, and the ground wires can all go together. So I'm going to connect the ground there, and then the white end here is going to connect the white end there, and the red end is going to connect to the red end on this side. So next thing we're going to do is let's get some solder going and get these wires ready to be soldered on. So just a little bit of solder goes a long ways. And there we go. There we go. So all these are prepped and ready to be soldered on these headphones. Now, depending on the headphones you get, just make sure you find your left and right side on these speakers. And also make sure that you put enough solder and stuff on there too that everything's gonna stick. I'm gonna put a little extra on there just to make sure. And I think what I'm going to do is make this side the side that's going to have both ends on it, or where everything is going to go to. So this one here was my ground wire, so let's put that there. And my soldering iron is a little hot, I need to actually replace it, so it takes a little bit longer for the solder to cool and stuff. So then we're going to go here and solder that. There we go. Oh, see, it wasn't dried enough or cooled down enough, so we're going to do that again. It can be a pain. There we go. Yeah, it can be difficult, especially with these cheaper speakers. Some of their soldering and stuff like that is crappy. You know, I just get some cheap solder from China too. It's half the price, and it works fairly well. But occasionally it takes a little bit longer for it to cool off. So there you go. I got two really good connections there. You want to double check to make sure those are solid and that you're not having anything check. You don't have anything in between touching each other. But there you go. That's a pretty good soldering. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to connect these wires together, and I'm going to just use this to hold it in place so it's easy to solder. And you're just going to lay them next to each other and overlap. And we're going to, there you go. Once they're overlapping, they're fairly easy to solder together. I'm let it cool because my iron has been on longer than this video has been going. And it's a bit hot. And if it's open, that's fine. We're going to throw some electrical tape on that so that way it doesn't touch anything. And we're going to take this other ground and we're going to connect it with the ground on this headset. And there we go. I'm going to let that cool off. And that should be good. There you go. Now, with these exposed wires, you could use electrical tape or you could use silicone. I have silicone, so once I get done testing these to make sure everything is right and working properly, I'm going to go back and throw some silicone over this, and it will basically seal everything up and it'll hold the wires in place, or at least help to hold the wires in place. Hot glue works too, but if you're in a hot environment, then obviously you run into the problem of it melting or whatnot. So let me get this one going. Look at that. And this side here. There we go. And so now we're going to take these wires and connect them. Make sure you put them on the right side. And you know, one thing I've learned with doing electronics is before you seal it up, make sure you test it, because sometimes things go wrong and it's not working the way it's supposed to, and the last thing you want to do is have this sealed up, or like for example I said, using the silicone, and then you plug it in and you're not getting any sound from your speakers or your electronics, and then you're having to take it all apart again. So there you go. Now it is done. So that makes that easy. Real simple, only takes a couple minutes to do, but now I have a pair of headphones for the hearing assist, and you got the 1, 2 sides, and this one goes to the box. And with these, you could just slip these back on. Let's see if they're, okay, if I start with the right side. So you just slip these back on easy enough. You can glue them, tape them, or even get your own new headphones for over the ear that you want to use. But there you go. And even with these just taken apart like this, that looks pretty nice, or at least it's gonna when you put it back in your helmet. Yeah, this is gonna show a little bit, but you can take this part here and trim that down if you want to make it fit better. You know, depending on how you want to mount it, you could even fill this up with silicone and then push it right onto your helmet where you want it to be, and then that'll dry in that shape, so it kind of makes it a little bit more stable. I usually just throw some glue on this and just glue it right on or whatnot. To be honest, I've used tape too and just tape these on, that way I can pull them out. But there you go. If you have any questions, let me know and I will help you. I am gonna start selling these, so if you guys want them, instead of having to make them, you can buy them from me. Just PM me and I will go from there. Alright, have a good one.